Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today with City Administrator Chris Shorter to announce the first step in the important task of reforming Baltimore's procurement system. This is part of the work that my administration will be focused on to modernize city government while improving our processes and practices to be more equitable. Let me say this very clearly. Our current procurement practices are outdated, broken, ineffective, and inequitable. As it stands, the city is required to purchase goods and services from the lowest bidder. While the cost is an important factor, especially in these times, as my administration focuses on being responsible fiscal stewards of city resources, it is not the only factor we should consider, especially when we've seen the instances where the lowest bidder became the most expensive bidder after getting change order after change order after change order. We also need to and will consider best value to ensure that our local businesses can benefit and navigate the city's procurement system so that we can create opportunity for our small businesses, particularly our minority and women-owned businesses, people of color, black people here in Baltimore City, prioritize things like environmental sustainability and purchasing, and make sure that our vendors get paid and on time, something that the city has struggled with for many years. We must also ensure that the rules are easier to navigate and that policies already on the books, like small and local business preference, are actually followed. And we must also think about how we can break up some of our larger contracts so that more of our local business, especially our minority and women-owned business, can provide services as a part of an overall project rather than the entire contract going to a single entity. Above all else, one thing is clear. Our procurement process is outdated in need of a complete overhaul. This is not something that we can piecemeal. It has to be done in entirety. We will not be a 21st century city until we implement 21st century policies and practices throughout city government. This is something I committed to initiating in my first 100 days in office and work that my transition team overwhelmingly supported. And at this time, I'd like to invite City Administrator Shorter to the podium to say a few words about how our administration will be embarking on this important and critical process. Mr. Administrator.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon. I am Chris Shorter, Acting City Administrator here in Baltimore City. I am pleased to join Mayor Scott to announce the Procurement Assessment Transformation Solicitation. Since my first day in City Hall, even before I joined city government, the Mayor has made clear that this administration will prioritize building a stronger, more effective, and efficient government that uses all the tools at its disposal to deliver high-quality services and an equitable and transformative procurement system. This charge is even more important with the impact of COVID-19 and the impact it has on our business community. The Procurement Assessment Transformation Solicitation that we are announcing today is one more example of that commitment to evolving government operations through the creation of more streamlined, cost-effective, fair, and transformative procurement processes. Procurement is one of the core and essential functions of government, and it is a linchpin that allows us to implement all the other programs and policies that city agencies are tasked with delivering. Whether it is purchasing light bulbs to keep the street lights on, or buying salt to keep our roads and bridges safe during winter weather, a fair, transparent, and open procurement system is necessary to get it done. When government procurement is done well, it is and can be both a driver of government operations effectiveness and a tool to bolster the growth of small, local, minority, and women-owned businesses through the creation of procurement opportunities that match their capacity with the government's demand for goods and services. We know every dollar spent in our city with local businesses is recycled through the local economy, and the impact is multiplied within our community. These firms hire local and support other small businesses, both which create a more effective and robust local economy. This solicitation will allow us to assess the current procurement code, policies, systems, administrative processes, technology tools, and our overall capacity to optimize the procurement services and ensure it meets the needs of government partners, procurement staff, vendors, and other internal and external stakeholders. This is an end-to-end enterprise-wide review of procurement activity within all city agencies, including our Department of Public Works, Department of Transportation, and Department of General Services, with a focus on optimizing performance, risk management, and strategic direction. It is our intention that once this work is complete, the assessment will produce a roadmap that will drive our procurement efforts and inform any potential and necessary city charter changes and amendments. It will move us towards a more predictable, timely, and cost-effective procurement system that will increase stakeholder satisfaction and enhance the ability of our agencies to deliver services. The request for proposal will be posted on CityBuy by the end of this week and will be posted for 30 days. After the solicitation has been open for 30 days, there will be a 30-day technical evaluation. The final contract award or award recommendation is expected to be sent to our Board of Estimates by the end of May. At this time, we are happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. As I said before, the city has the responsibility to purchase goods and service in an efficient, equitable way that benefits our local economy and our local community. This charge is even more important as we come out of COVID-19 in a new world that we live in. And we also have to, again, understand that we cannot move forward as a city if we're continuing outdated practices and policies that we know are not working for our citizens, for our businesses, for our community in general. And now we'll take some questions. Mr. Daniels?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shorter. Listen, Mr. Mayor, as you know, I know that you have been vocal in a positive way in making sure that our procurement process help avoid corruption that we've seen regarding city contracts. Can you remind our residents what measures might be in place in this new reform measure to help avoid possible corruption like we've seen in the past with city contracts?
So Keith, I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that what I would like the residents to understand, and you and I have had this conversation before, so I know this is something that means a lot to you. When you have systems that have been in place since the 80s, 90s, 70s in some cases, they cannot keep up with the 21st century world. And we know that those kind of breakdowns allow for corruption, allow for malfeasance, allow for abuse to happen. What we are doing today is putting out to make sure that we can develop a 21st century procurement practice and policies for the city government so that we're closing all of those loopholes, so that we're modernizing everything that we can, so that we're spending taxpayer dollars as efficiently as possible, of course, without corruption or abuse. It's about the entirety of it to make sure that it goes the right way.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Mr. Mayor, do you mind if Mr. Shorter also address that question? Mr. Shorter, again, like we asked the mayor, what measures, if any, might be in place, particularly in what you're presenting today, to help avoid corruption regarding city contracts, the issuance of city contracts?
Sure. No, I very much appreciate the question. An effective procurement system, especially one meeting 21st century needs, is a system that's transparent. And so all recommendations that come from the selected vendor will lead towards technology tools, a very transparent environment where all players, both government and non-government, can see the process as it exists. So I would say that that's my expectation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, everybody.